In the heart of Elderglow, a village nestled between rolling hills and whispering pines, the air carried the scent of fresh bread and the promise of tomorrow. The cobblestone streets wound past thatched cottages, their windows glowing with the warmth of hearths and hearts. Here lived two souls whose paths would weave a tale of kindness and greed, a story that would echo through the ages. Mira was a weaver, her hands calloused yet gentle, her eyes bright with dreams. She lived in a modest cottage at the village's edge, where she spun wool into tapestries that told stories of hope and love. Her laughter was a melody, her kindness a beacon. She shared her meager earnings with those in need, mending clothes for widows and weaving blankets for orphans. Mira believed that a single thread of kindness could bind a community, and her heart was rich with the joy of giving. Across the village, in a grand house atop a hill, lived Torin, a merchant whose wealth was matched only by his ambition. His eyes gleamed with the glint of gold, and his smile was sharp as a blade. Torin's coffers overflowed with coins, yet his heart was a barren vault. He hoarded his riches, turning away beggars and scoffing at charity. To Torin, wealth was power and power was life. But beneath his polished exterior, a gnawing emptiness grew, a hunger no coin could sate. The village of Elderglow thrived on its annual harvest festival, a celebration of abundance and unity. This year, the festival promised to be grander than ever, for a traveling bard had foretold the arrival of a mystical artifact, the Heartstone, a gem said to grant one wish to a soul pure of heart. Whispers of the Heartstone spread like wildfire, igniting dreams in every villager's heart. Mira longed to wish for a world where no one went hungry, while Torin schemed to claim the stone's power for himself, envisioning a fortune vast enough to rival kings. As autumn painted the hills in hues of amber and crimson, the festival began. The village square buzzed with laughter, music, and the clink of mugs. Children darted through crowds, their faces smeared with berry juice, while elders swapped tales by the bonfire. Mira, adorned in a simple blue shawl, wove through the festivities, her heart swelling with joy. She handed out woven bracelets to children, each knot tied with a whispered blessing. Her eyes sparkled as she watched the village come alive, her soul warmed by their shared happiness. Torin, cloaked in fine velvet, stood apart, his gaze fixed on the festival's centerpiece, a pedestal where the Heartstone would soon appear. His fingers twitched with anticipation, his mind racing with plans. He had bribed the bard for clues, paid villagers for secrets, and even spread rumors to sow distrust. To Torin, the Heartstone was a prize to be won, no matter the cost. Yet, as he watched Myra's selfless acts, a flicker of unease stirred within him, a memory of a time when his heart, too, had known kindness. The night grew deep, and the moon hung low, casting silver light over Elderglow. The bard stepped forward, his voice a velvet thunder. "The Heartstone seeks a heart untainted by greed," he declared, raising a shimmering gem that pulsed with inner light. "Only one whose deeds reflect true kindness may claim its power." The crowd hushed, their breaths held in awe. Mira felt a quiet hope bloom in her chest, while Torin's pulse quickened with resolve. The bard set the Heartstone on the pedestal, and a challenge was issued. Each villager could present a single act of kindness to prove their worth. One by one, they approached. A baker offered loaves to the poor. A farmer shared his harvest with a struggling neighbor. Each act was met with cheers, but the Heartstone remained dim, its light unclaimed. Mira stepped forward, her heart pounding. She carried no grand gesture, only a small tapestry she had woven for the festival. It depicted Elderglow's people, their hands linked in unity, their faces alight with love. "This is my offering," she said softly, her voice trembling yet clear. "I wove it to remind us that kindness is our truest wealth. I wish for a world where every heart is full." As she placed the tapestry beside the Heartstone, the gem flared with a warm, golden glow, and the crowd gasped. Tears brimmed in Myra's eyes, not for the wish, but for the love she felt radiating from her village. Torin's heart sank, his plans unraveling. Desperation clawed at him, and he pushed through the crowd, his voice sharp. "I, too, have an offering," he declared, holding aloft a sack of coins. "I will give this to the village, to build a grand hall, to make Elderglow the envy of all. His words were met with murmurs, but the Heartstone's light dimmed, its glow fading to a cold flicker. The bard shook his head. The Heartstone sees the heart, not the hand, he said. Your gift is tainted by greed. Torin's face flushed with shame, and for the first time, he felt the weight of his emptiness. He looked at Mira, her face radiant with compassion, and memories flooded back. Memories of a boy who once shared his bread with a starving friend, a boy who dreamed of a life filled with love. That boy was gone, buried beneath years of greed, but in that moment, Torin longed to find him again. The festival continued, but Torin slipped away, his heart heavy. He wandered to the edge of the village, where Myra's cottage stood. There, under the moonlight, he saw her kneeling in her garden, planting seeds for the spring. Her hands worked with care, her face serene. Torin approached, his voice barely a whisper. Mira, he said, why do you give so much when you have so little? Mira looked up, her eyes kind but searching. Because giving fills my heart, she said. Wealth fades, Torin, but kindness endures. It's the only treasure that grows when shared. Her words struck him like a bell, resonating in the hollows of his soul. For the first time, Torin saw the poverty of his riches, the loneliness of his greed. Days passed, and the Heartstone vanished, its wish unclaimed, for Mira had refused to use it, believing her village's love was wish enough. But Torin changed. He began small, sharing his wealth with those in need, rebuilding homes, and funding the orphanage. Each act of kindness chipped away at his emptiness, filling him with a warmth he had forgotten. The villagers, wary at first, began to see the boy Torin had once been, reborn in the man he was becoming. Mira watched Torin's transformation with quiet pride, her heart swelling with hope. One evening, as winter's first snow dusted Elderglow, Torin knocked on her door. In his hands was a tapestry, clumsily woven but heartfelt, depicting two figures sharing bread under a starry sky. I made this for you, he said, his voice thick with emotion. It's not much, but it's a start. Thank you, Mira, for showing me what truly matters. Mira took the tapestry, her eyes glistening. It's beautiful, Torin, she said. It's the start of a new story. They stood together, the snow falling softly, their hearts woven together by the threads of kindness. And so, in Elderglow, the tale of Mira and Torin became legend, a reminder that greed may build empires, but kindness builds homes. The village thrived, its people bound by love, their hearts glowing brighter than any gem. For in the end, it was not the Heartstone that granted wishes, but the courage to choose kindness over greed, to find riches in the giving of oneself.